Follow-up email sequence, my tips and tricks. One of the biggest mistakes I see entrepreneurs make today is serious lack of follow-up. In this video, I'm gonna show you some of the ways I like to get people who are kind of on the fence to actually move forward and make the purchase. Let's dive in. Hey guys, fortune really is in the follow-up, and for me personally, if I didn't do a lot of follow-up, most of my money comes from following up, by the way. It just does. If you've paid for or earned somebody's attention or contact info, follow up. They've already given you a first yes in essence. So here's a list of things that I like to do in order to make sure at least my follow-up is at least acceptable. Let's move forward. All right, the most simple way to improve your follow-up is to increase your follow-up sequence's length. It is the easiest thing to do to make more money. Most standard follow-up sequences on the internet for my industry, and especially for internet marketers, is usually 3 to 5 days or 3 to 5 emails long. It's not always an email a day, but usually 3 to 5, that's kind of the number. However, there's a lot of people who are now writing 30-day follow-up sequences or 60-day. The longest one I've ever heard of is about 5 years long. It's a long time. You do not have to do that, by the way, all right? That is, but hey, more power to you if you choose to. And the reason is because of the math. Right? If you give somebody a few days to actually execute and make a decision with you to actually go purchase, and somebody, let's say, gets busy or they just don't open I don't open my email for sometimes a week or two, it means that you missed the window. And so what's cool is if you actually increase the follow-up sequence length, it basically gives people an opportunity to come back and purchase with you. You'll notice that it actually boosts your average cart value like crazy also. I do have a buddy, Trey Llewellyn, an awesome guy who is, I think he's got a 60-day follow-up sequence. So he has this webinar where he'll put $1 in advertising and get 2 or 3 out. But because the sequence is 60 days long, and it's not some big, massive, annoying thing, by the way, it's very value-based, it's awesome. But because the sequence is so long, he'll do another $1 or 2 or 3 per dollar spent on top of what was done before. That's huge. That's huge. All right, do you understand the equivalent of that? That's like saying I put $1 in, and here you go, bank, and the bank just hands you back $5. Like, what? Weekly, or at least by the month? That's an insane, like there's no other return rate like that on planet Earth, right? In fact, if someone has a return rate like that on planet Earth and they're out there advertising it, they're probably going to jail, right? That's why I like this so much. So strategy number 1, just increase the length of the actual follow-up sequence itself. Next little tip here is to use cross-platform follow-up. Let me explain that. One of the ways I like to follow up with people is on the phone. Now, I use what's called ringless voicemail. There's a lot of services out there that do that. And so the phone will ring, right? And it will go straight to their voicemail. And it'll be a voicemail of me saying, hey, I just sent you an email, and this email has more details on X, Y, and Z products. And just so you remember, like, we want you to go take action on this in the next 24 hours so we can give you this other cool bonus, right? So what's powerful about this is that I'll have a voicemail that is referencing another platform. So they go off their phone, they go back over to their email, they type up, they look in the email, and they're like, oh my gosh, here's his offer. That's been really powerful. So on top of increasing the length of the follow-up sequence, a powerful way to make your sequence more effective is to reference that content from another platform. That's been a big trick of ours. So I'll go in and I'll say, hey, I'm about to send you an email about what, X, Y, and Z, whatever. So they go to their email. But then once the sequence is over, I'll send another voicemail. It's like, hey, did you like that? Call us back. You got any questions? And by having multiple platforms, it's really quite effective. Here's my point in that. And I know that you guys are on YouTube right now. How many of you, and tell me in the comments, okay? How many of you like to buy from an email? How many of you have ever purchased something from an email, right? Just put, yes, I've purchased from an email down below. Me too, all right? How many of you have ever purchased something from the phone? I've purchased from the phone. How many of you have purchased from a webinar? I've definitely bought from a webinar. How many of you have purchased from a blog? I have to say, I don't know that I personally have ever purchased from a blog. What about from a podcast? I don't know if I have done that. Influencer? I've bought from an influencer. My point is that not everyone buys the same. And so when you have cross-platform follow-up sequences that are like, hey, come over, you end up scooping up a little more people who are like, you know what, I don't know that I would buy through the email sequence. I'm not that way. Let's say that you put in the comment, you're like, I don't really buy through emails. That's fine. It's one of the reasons why we will go and we'll take multiple platforms. Maybe you need to get a text message. Maybe you need to get a voicemail. Maybe you need to get on the actual phone and speak to somebody, right? Some people still, they need that feel good, and it depends on the price point too, for sure. But that's the big takeaway. That's the thing, is like, if you want better follow-ups, I know you want to like have a cool follow-up sequence through email, and you should, but one of the ways to boost it significantly is to recognize that all those that would buy probably are not all willing to buy through email. And so one of the ways to make your sequence more effective is to just reference it from other platforms. All right, I want to teach you about a really cool trick. This is the third little tip here on your email sequences. Russell and I were building funnels for this company that it's super fun. I can't name their name, all right? But it was a super fun company. They had a killer, amazing sales script, and we did a lot for them and helped them become quite profitable. We wanted to add, I remember there's this email that was going back and forth between Russell and I and this other company. And we were saying, hey, can we add on, we call it a seen but not purchased email sequence. And they kind of fought us on it for a little bit. And we were like, the benefit is that we've noticed that whenever we add this seen but not purchased sequence to our email sequence, usually we'll get another 3 to 5% increase in conversions, right? That's not uncommon, I should say. So what is that, Steve? Eventually they conceded, they're like, all right, that's fine, whatever. But we really had to fight it for a little while until we could show them some cool numbers behind it, which was shocking. By the way, if a really, really smart marketer tells you to do something, you should do it, all right? It blew my mind that they were fighting it. So here's what it is. Basically, when somebody comes to a page and they start putting their information in and they leave and don't end up actually completing the purchase, you can auto fire a sequence in that scenario. So we speak to that scenario. Hey, did you mean to leave? Did our page break? Did your phone die? Right? Did you need to go plug your laptop in? We just wanted to know why you left and didn't buy this. And if we're cool to send it to somebody else instead. That's pretty awesome. Click here to go back and finish purchasing. Just that brief little reminder, man, that super, super small little reminder. The next 2 emails are some kind of similar variation to that. But that is an awesome way to boost the value of your email sequence and actually measure dollars coming back in. Before I show you a really cool strategy also here to wrap up with, please hit the subscribe button. Press subscribe, hit the little thumbs up, hit the bell notification, and then actually down in the comments, I would love to see what email tricks have been your favorite ones. What are your favorite ethical, all right, everyone keep it white hat here, okay? No gray hat, no black hat, I'm not into that stuff. What's been your favorite email conversion tricks? Hey guys, this third one is one that I have kind of been playing with and kind of, I don't know if I made it up or where it really came from. I call it a consumption series. Think about this. If somebody goes in and they purchase, what do you say to them? Because when somebody goes in and they don't purchase, we certainly have auto sequences that pull somebody in. You only opted in and haven't moved forward yet, we have big sequences there, and that's pretty common in the email marketing space, as you're well aware of. But what do you do when they've purchased? I call it a consumption series. And a consumption series is a set of a few emails that basically says this. First email is like, hey, you bought X, Y, and Z. I want to show you exactly where those are and exactly how you're going to get them. And I will specifically spell out where each of the things are that they purchased in my offer. But that doesn't mean they're consuming them. If you can't get your people to consume what it is they purchased from you, you're dead in the water. You don't get testimonials, right? That's a really short road. And because you don't get testimonials, when someone asks, hey, how was it to buy Steve Larsen's thing? They'll be like, I never implemented it. I have no idea. Huh, must not be that good then. Kills you. You have to teach people to consume what they purchase. So that's what I call the consumption series. The first email is like, hey, here's what you bought and where to get it all. The next email though is like, let's dive into that number 1 thing. Did you know that it does this, and that, and these benefits? All right, actually click here and I'll teach you exactly where to start getting the benefit of what you purchased. The next email will talk about the next thing in the offer. Next email will talk about the next thing in the offer. Next email will talk about some testimonials. Funny enough, just because you sold them into the sale doesn't mean you shouldn't sell them post-sale. Does that make sense? Right? You need to keep selling them after they've given you the money. Now what you're selling them on though is consuming and using what they've purchased. Got a free gift for you. Go to capitalismswag.com and you can pick up one of our cool crowd-splitting capitalist shirts. The capitalist pig shirt is actually free. We actually go in the hole a little bit for it. We asked $9 for shipping and handling, but besides that, it's a free shirt, and we go in the hole a little bit over it. It's yours for free if you like capitalism, if you're a fan of cash, if you know that you can do more when you have more, and there's nothing wrong with seeking it. Go get your free shirt at capitalismswag.com. I put the link in the comments below.